Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Welcome on board our vessel to Mars. Boarding is completed as all systems are set, and we're sure that we don't take the coronavirus to outer space. Thanks for your cooperation, by the way. We are ready to launch. First rule, don't panic.
Cabin crew, prepare for takeoff.
Seconds till liftoff.
T-minus 15 seconds. Good night, it's configured for flight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
This is your captain with an update from the cockpit. We arrived in Earth's orbit safe and sound. Let me please especially welcome one very special passenger, an extraordinary visionary, a multi-talented engineer, a super smart entrepreneur, and not at least the man who made this mission to Mars possible. Please give a very warm welcome to Mr. Elon Musk. Please take a look at our wonderful planet. Isn't it gorgeous? As curious as I am to see Mars, I'm really looking forward to come back to our old homestead.
South Africa in the 70s. A boy from Pretoria facing childhood problems. He reads 10 hours a day. Star Wars and science fiction. But this one's got talent. For machines and for money.
Game begin.
At the age of 12, he programmed his first computer game on the good old Commodore. Young Elon sold Blastar for $500. Develop stuff, let it grow, sell it soon. This is how he made his fortune and his opportunity to go even further. This is the way. One sentence he never wanted to hear. You're in the Army now. So he got himself a passport, moved to Canada, leaving the South African apartheid regime behind. He was 16 years old. After some time in Kingston, he left Canada, went to Pennsylvania, got his bachelor, and then moved south. Stanford University, Palo Alto, where all the Silicon dreams were about to come true. Elon was one of those who founded the legend of the Valley. With $2,000, a car, and a computer, and nothing more, he and his brother Kimball founded Zip2, a company that provided and licensed online city guide software to newspapers. 4 years later, he sold it to Compaq for $307 million. Quite a story. But just the start. A typical story of those times. Develop and invest. Find allies. Merge. Disrupt. The rise of PayPal. his first vision of making things easier for people using the digitization. Elon Musk helped to change the financial industry forever. PayPal was sold for $1.5 billion to eBay. Elon held 11.7% of the shares. A big winner in the big game. Money that he uses to make the world a better place. He attacks on the world's best settled market, the automotive industry.
We created Tesla to make a difference in the world.
Tesla, disruption at its best. Not everything worked out perfect,
Oh my fucking God. Well,
but his long breath proved him right. He is pushing all his competitors forward. He is expanding. He leads technology. He leads infrastructure and logistics. And if necessary, he works and sleeps at the factory. And he is ein Berliner. Soon, very soon.
We've decided to put the Tesla Gigafactory Europe in the Berlin area. Yeah.
That's the news.
And Tesla is just on the cutting edge of an idea. Autonomous driving is born.
So for us, being a little startup, we had to start off with a car that was in low production and necessarily expensive.
Their idea of an electric car is something that doesn't look good, isn't fast, doesn't have high performance. We wanted to break the mold of all of that. That's what we sought to achieve.
Saving time for important things. Saving time for stuff that is fun. Well, it is fun to drive a Tesla. But on an endless motorway, even riding gets tiring. It's human. We're bored very soon. Let the car drive and get some food for the brain while it does the work. And last but not least, fuel it with energy that is not harmful to the planet. Elon embraces his responsibility. But this is never enough. Much more is needed. Elon can't stop thinking about the future, of making things work better, more efficient. A visionary, a man who never gives up. Although there would have been a few moments when giving up would have been a more than plausible option. He reaches out for the stars. The real ones. The stars shining bright at night in the sky.
you see them both light up?
He is a superstar. And still the kid who loves sci-fi. SpaceX is not only a business. It's not a hobby. It's a passion. Elon is CEO and its first spaceship designer. It is all rocket science, really. Many laughed at him. NASA with its billions. The Russians with their ruthless and dead serious ambitions.
The whole goal of SpaceX was for space exploration technology, and that's helping make humanity a space-faring civilization.
He transported Americans to the ISS.
3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff. The Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed. Spot a dog.
Private economy is more effective and sustainable than state economy. Crew Dragon is a gentle slap in the face for over-the-top institutional rocketeers. The Russians took it personal. Elon Musk must not be quoted by them. Too successful. Russia. Some things never change. Can one man change the world? Yeah, sure. Elon Musk did it, and he doesn't stop there.
And I think that's one of the things that, makes people excited about the future. And we want the things that are in science fiction novels and movies not to be science fiction forever. We want them to be real one day.
What if one could help handicapped people by connecting the body with machines to reconnect neural disorders? Hey, Presto, Neuralink. What if we could get rid of traffic on our city streets? Dig a deep, long tunnel beneath them and shoot the cars from one side of the town to the other. Hey, Presto, the boring company. The name, by the way, is one of the best puns ever. And stop. If we can do that with cars, why shouldn't we do it with goods and people? In full speed, 600 kilometers in 35 minutes. Just do it. Hey, Presto, Hyperloop. But all that's earthbound. Reach for the stars and planets. We're already on our way to Mars.
This is your captain speaking. Well, rather gasping. What a trip that was. And it's not over yet. Let's hear it from the man himself. I'd kindly ask you now, Elon, to come on stage and join Axel Springer CEO Matthias Döpfner for a little chat.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like a ride. I mean, I think you could charge money for this. This was great. I mean, yeah, it's really makes a difference to have this two screens and the angle change. It's like, that felt great, like Disney ride.
Elon, apart from this special trip to Mars this evening, when do you think realistically human beings will land on Mars for the first time?
I feel fairly confident about 6 years from now. So the Mars, Earth-Mars synchronization occurs roughly every 26 months. So we had one this year, the summer, and so that means in roughly like about 2 years there'll be another one, and then 2 years after that. So I'd say if you say 6 years from now, I think highly confident. If we get lucky, maybe 4 years, and then we want to try to send an uncrewed vehicle there in 2 years.
When will your first trip to orbit will take place?
I don't know, possibly in 2 or 3 years. I'm mostly concerned with developing the technology that can enable a lot of people to go to Mars and make life multiplanetary, have a base on the moon, a city on Mars. And I think it's important that we strive to have a self-sustaining city on Mars as soon as possible. I mean, I'm optimistic about the future on Earth, but it's important to have life insurance for life as a whole.
Is it going to be a business kind of tourism in orbit, or is it more a kind of plan B if things on Earth do not develop as well?
It's not exactly a plan B. It's more that I think there's two aspects to this. One is that we want to have a future that is inspiring and exciting. And what are the things that you find inspiring and exciting about the future? And I think a future where we are a spacefaring civilization and out there among the stars, I think every kid gets excited about that. You don't even need to teach them. They just get it. It's like instinctive. And so it's very important for us to have reasons to be excited about life. Like when you wake up in the morning, it can't just be about problems. It's okay. I know everyone in this room deals with a lot of tough problems, but it's got to be more than that. So, I think a future where you can say, hey, even if it's not you, there's going to be people out there. We can have a base on the moon. We're going to have a city on Mars. Maybe go further, the moons of Jupiter and everything. I think that's a very exciting future, and I think most people do.
And you seriously want to be buried on Mars?
Just not on impact. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to, listen, we're all going to die someday. So if you're going to die someday, I'm like, okay, do you want to be buried on Mars or Earth? I'm like, Mars sounds cool. Born on Earth, die on Mars. That's, if you've got the choice.
2 years ago, I had a conversation with Jack Ma, and we spoke about Jeff Bezos' plans with regard to orbit, and he said, well, let's Jeff Bezos take care for the orbit, I take care for the Earth. You seem to take care for both?
Yeah, basically Tesla is about trying to make sure things are good for the future on Earth, and then SpaceX is about a good future beyond Earth, basically. And so obviously we have to have sustainable energy, both consumption and production of energy. So like Tesla does solar panels and batteries. I think that's one of the key ways to have sustainable energy generation, and also the batteries are useful for wind power. So, and then you need to consume it via, you consume the electricity, so electric vehicles. You know, I think I look at these things like say, okay, if you look back from the future and say, what's the fundamental good of Tesla, I would say it probably should be assessed as by how many years did Tesla accelerate the advent of sustainable energy? Like that's like I would measure the goodness of Tesla in that way. And then for SpaceX, it's like, okay, to what degree did we improve the probability of humanity being a spacefaring civilization?
I remember very well the year 2014 when we were hosting the Gold Steering Wheel here at Axel Springer, and you got the award for Lifetime Achievement. And I was sitting in the first row with the then very successful and famous CEO of a very big German car company, and I asked him while you were on stage, isn't this guy dangerous for you? I mean, this looks really serious. He said, oh no, don't worry. First of all, the whole idea of electric driving is never going to be a mass market.
Sure.
Second, these guys,
heard that a lot.
These guys in Silicon Valley, they have no clue about engineering, about building really beautiful and great cars, so we don't have to worry. By then, Tesla's market cap was 23 billion. Today it's 536 billion US dollars. The market cap of VW then was 86, and today it's 77. And you are with Tesla 2.5 times bigger than BMW, VW, and Daimler.
I even said the stock is too high. I mean, what am I supposed to do? You know, like,
have you ever considered to buy?
The stock is too high a long time, like when it was like at $800 pre-split. And they don't listen to me, but you know, I tell you, and the SEC complained again. I mean, like, you know.
Is it a serious option to buy one of the incumbents, one of the big car companies for you?
Well, I think we're definitely not going to launch a hostile takeover. So I suppose if there was someone...
But a friendly one.
If somebody said, hey, we think it would be a good idea to merge with Tesla, we'd certainly have that conversation. But, you know, we don't want to, you know, be a hostile takeover sort of situation.
Did you feel a lot of complacency these days that the incumbents then let you feel that you are, I mean, the kind of hopeless disruptor, but they know how to do it, or were they very polite and nice with you?
Do you mean back then or now?
Back then?
Oh, no.
Today everybody's
super nice. I would not say they were super, no. Yeah, they were difficult to characterize their response as super nice. They used a lot of adjectives. I don't think any of them were positive. So
we
really tried hard to convince a lot of companies. Honestly, I was in so many panels, but they generally were. Yeah, generally the sentiment that was expressed that you mentioned earlier, that was pretty much universal, especially. Back in, say, 2008 or 2007, like when we first unveiled the Roadster in 2007, yeah, I mean, it was just basically, they just said, well, you're basically a bunch of fools. Well, I mean, generally they would say, like, well, starting a car company is crazy, you're going to lose all your money. I was like, I think I probably will lose all my money, I agree. It wasn't like I thought it would be successful. I thought we had maybe a 10% chance of success. So then people would say, it's going to fail and you're going to lose everything. I was like, yeah, probably true. Yeah. What else is new?
A couple of years ago, we saw each other in America, and a guy asks you on a panel when autonomous driving will be approved. And you said, I do not care so much when it's going to be approved. I care more when human beings in cars will be forbidden. And then the guy said, well, that's really unrealistic. It's never going to happen in cars. People want to do something actively. And then you said, well, 100 years ago, nobody could imagine elevator without a lift boy. Today, nobody could imagine a lift with a lift boy.
Yeah.
So when is autonomous driving really going to happen, and when are you able to do it, and when is it going to be approved?
Okay, just between us.
Yeah, it's a very discreet circle here. Yeah.
So, well, first of all, I'm not against people driving, to be clear. So I think people will drive cars basically as far into the future as I can imagine. It's just that it's going to be increasingly unusual to drive your own car. And while it's fun to drive a well-handling car on a winding road in beautiful terrain, of course that's fun. But it's not fun to drive a car in terrible gridlock traffic. Like, going through extreme traffic, that's no fun driving a car. So I think people are unlikely to, most of the time, want to commute or with their and drive themselves. And people are typically spending an hour and a half a day, maybe 2 hours on average driving, especially say in like California or something like that. It's very common. And some people will actually commute like 3 hours a day sometimes. It's pretty crazy. So I think if you say fast forward to like 10 years from now, I think 10 years from now, almost all cars will have full autonomy capability. All new cars produced. So there's about 2 billion cars and trucks in the existing fleet, and the new vehicle production is about 5% of the fleet size, so about 100 million. So even to the point at which all cars are autonomous, it'll still take 20 years to replace all the cars, assuming that the number of cars and trucks in the fleet stays constant. But like say 10 years from now, I would say vast majority of cars electric, like maybe 70-80% or more, and almost all cars autonomous. Electric autonomy is absolutely the future, no question. It's just a question of when. But then, like I said, sometimes people think that means the global fleet gets replaced instantly. It's like, nope, you have to go 20 years beyond that point before, 20 years from the point at which new cars are electric, then the fleet will be replaced. This is just an important, it's not like, sometimes people are used to like mobile phones and that kind of thing. It's like 2-year or 3-year replacement rate, but cars are a much more expensive asset, a longer life. Anyway, to actually answer your question, I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year. Now, there's a uncertain period of time for when regulatory approval will take. How long will it take? But I think if you are able to accumulate billions of kilometers of autonomous driving, then it's difficult to argue and look at the accident rate when the car is autonomous versus non-autonomous. And in fact, our statistics already show a massive difference when the car is on autopilot or not on autopilot. If the safety is much greater even with the current autopilot software.
And we are discussing level 5 autonomy, so really full autonomy. Will Europe lag behind, or will it be approved here at the same time like in America or China?
It's hard to say exactly when it will be approved. I mean, just and our customers already know this, but the EU regulators are the most conservative. And I don't know if people want that to be the case or not. Our customers are sort of unhappy about it. But yeah, they only meet every 6 months. It's a bit of an arduous. Maybe meet more often, I don't know. But I think at least some jurisdictions will allow full self-driving next year.
Okay. Exactly a year ago, you were announcing in this very building that you're planning to build a new site near Berlin.
Yeah.
And a couple of months later, in June, you started. You want to finish it by July next year. we did a little tour this morning. It's impressive how advanced it is, and it's almost unbelievable. Germany, and particularly Berlin, is not world famous for finishing construction sites in time and in budget. So you've created a kind of anti-Berlin airport project. Why Berlin? Why did you go to Germany and to Berlin to get that big project done?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm actually a big fan of Germany. I love Germany. It's great. I have a lot of friends, German friends, and I think Berlin is a very fun city. And I think there's also, from a location standpoint, people like, say, young people can live in apartments at a reasonable price in the city of Berlin, but if somebody's got a family, they can still have an affordable house. So it's a good location, offering good living for people of all ages and incomes.
Berlin mayor once said Berlin is poor but sexy. Is that what attracted you?
Berlin's not that poor, but it's definitely sexy.
Could you imagine to spend...
so we're going to have, like, when we open the... you're all invited, by the way. When we have the opening for Giga Berlin, we're going to have just a big party. We're going to have, like, start off on the day, have more sort of family music, and then gradually get more hardcore, and then go, midnight techno till dawn.
Do you plan to spend more time in Berlin yourself? You want to partly live here?
Yes, I'll be spending a lot of time here.
Where do you sleep tonight?
Tonight's in the factory.
In the factory, not in a hotel?
Well, technically in a conference room in the factory, but yeah.
You sleep in a conference room in the not finished factory tonight?
Yeah, it gives me a good feel for what's going on.
Alone, or?
Yeah, I assume so. Is this an invitation? Yeah.
Okay. Elon, you have so many projects. It's not only Tesla or SpaceX, it's Neuralink, it's the Boring Company, so many things. And when we discussed last time, I asked you, what is the most important project or the most important topic for you to deal with in the foreseeable future? And you said that is truly the role that AI is going to play in our society. Could you explain why, and why that is a big opportunity, but also seems to worry you?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, humans have been the smartest creature on Earth for a long time, and that is going to change with what's typically called artificial general intelligence. So this is, say, an AI that is smarter than a human in every way, could even simulate a human. This is something we should be concerned about. I think there should be government oversight of AI developments, especially super advanced AI. It's just, this is anything that is a potential danger to the public. We generally agree that this should have government oversight to ensure that the public safety is taken care of.
Because you fear that one day mankind could serve the machines and not the other way around?
Honestly, when I see people on their phones, I think we're already serving the machine.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everyone's answering the questions. Every time you do a search or add information, you're sort of building this, the digital group mind. The advent of artificial general intelligence is called the singularity for a reason, because just like a black hole, which is a singularity, it's difficult to predict what will happen. So it's not as though the advent of AGI is necessarily bad, but it's bad as one of the possible outcomes.
And when is singularity in the definition of Ray Kurzweil going to happen?
Well, I think you were saying he's predicting 2025. I think that's reasonably accurate.
Mm. And how can it be avoided that is then more a threat for humanity than an opportunity? Is it a question of governance, so that there is not too much power in one or in few hands? Or how would you make sure that it goes into the right direction?
I think we should have a government oversight, just like we do. We have government oversight and regulation of cars and aircraft. and food and pharmaceuticals. These are all, there are regulators that oversee these developments to ensure public safety. And I think digital superintelligence would also be potentially a public safety risk. And so it should be, I think it's very important for regulators to keep an eye on that.
Who should own the data by then?
I think everyone should own their own data. Like individuals should own their data. And they certainly shouldn't be tricked by some terms and conditions of a website and suddenly you don't own your data. That's crazy. Who reads those terms and conditions anyway? So, but I think it's just, like we wouldn't let people develop a nuclear bomb in the backyard just for the hell of it, That seems crazy. So digital superintelligence, I think, has the potential to be more dangerous than a nuclear bomb. So yeah, we should somebody should be keeping an eye. We can't have the inmates running the asylum here.
Which is a global issue, because if we do well, but China has other rules and a different regulatory framework, that is another
I don't
challenge.
I generally like that. This is one of the rebuttals I get from those developing AI. And Tesla is also developing a form of AI with self-driving, but it's a very narrow form of AI. Just like the car's not going to wake up one day and take over the world. So it's but the rebuttal I get is like, well, China's going to have unfettered AI development, and so if we have regulations and it slows us down, then China will have it. And I'm like, look, from my conversations with government officials in China, they're quite concerned about AI as well, and in fact, they're probably more likely to have good oversight than I think other countries.
What is the biggest challenge ahead of us? In general, not only with regard to AI. What is the biggest problem that needs to be solved?
What's the biggest threat to humanity's future or something? Well, AI is certainly one of the biggest risks. It could be the biggest risk. I think we need to watch out about population collapse. This is somewhat counterintuitive to most people. They think that, well, there's so many humans, maybe too many humans, but that's just because they live in a city. If you're in an aircraft and you look down, they say, if you dropped a cannonball, how often would you hit a person? Basically never. In fact, there's stuff falling in from space all the time. Natural meteorites, old rocket stages, all the time. But nobody worries about it because the actual, in fact, there's a good cool website called Wait But Why, and this guy Tim Urban, he actually just did the math, and all humans on Earth could fit in the city of New York on one floor. Don't even need the upper floors. So that's actually the cross section of humans as seen from Earth is extremely tiny, basically vanishingly small, almost nothing. So we need to watch out about population collapse. Low birth rate, I think, is a big risk. And it's also not exactly top secret. You can go look at the Wikipedia, birth rate. So, and this is actually this is definitely the civilization ends with a whimper, not a bang, because it would be a sad ending, where the average age becomes very high, and really the youth are effectively de facto enslaved to take care of the old people. This is not a good way to end.
Do you have any new projects dealing with these topics that you've just addressed?
Well, I'm trying to set a good example on the kid front.
6 kids.
Yes. For now.
How much time do you spend with them?
I spend about as much time as they want to spend with me. So,
would they? Yeah.
I mean, they're not. Well, one's just a baby, and the others are 14 and 16, and teenagers don't usually want to hang out with their parents that much. We just had Thanksgiving weekend, so all the kids were over. So if they want to spend more time with me, I say like, I actually ask them, are you sure we don't want to hang out more? They're like, no. So I think it's probably the right amount then, since they don't want to hang out more. So I think we really should take this seriously, the population collapse, artificial intelligence. Obviously, sustainable energy is important. The faster we transition to sustainable energy, the less of a gamble we're taking with climate. And I think there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So, I think with enough, with effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. You can basically do anything. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence. So, caterpillars do it. So.
But your project Neuralink is in a way empowering human intelligence versus artificial intelligence. That's the purpose of it. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Neuralink, in the short to medium term, Neuralink is really just going to help cure brain injuries, and brain and spine injuries. So it's like if somebody is in fact, our first implanted devices in humans will be for quadriplegics, tetraplegics, allowing them to control a computer or a phone just using their mind. So, like you can imagine, like if Stephen Hawking could just talk at normal speed or even faster than normal speed.
Looking back for the last thousands of years, what is the most important invention of mankind so far?
In the past 1,000 years, I guess it's
millions.
Oh, millions. Well, I think language, being able to talk and express concepts, and this is probably the biggest invention of humanity's language.
It's an answer that we like very much in the publishing house.
Yeah, absolutely. Writing is exactly just writing really made a big difference. That guy Gutenberg, he really knew what he was doing.
You have one thing in common with Nikola Tesla, that's a photographic memory. Is that only a gift or sometimes a burden because you memorize too much?
I have a photographic memory in some respect.
You can filter?
For technical stuff, I have a very good memory. So, for a human, computers are much better at memory. Computers are really good at memory.
Why is music so important for you? Techno music in particular?
Well, it's pretty fun. I think it's, you want to, feel maximum human, And so I think when people have sort of a rave and good music, it can be like, hey, maximum human, You want to really feel, it's like, boom, where it really gets you to feel, And I think that, having fun with friends and, just crazy dancing is fun.
Perhaps your love for techno music is the secret reason why you are building big projects in Berlin.
Honestly, it's a significant factor.
Okay, Elon, last question. You celebrated your 30th birthday with a masked ball in Venice. 40th birthday, I was told you had a fight with a samurai sword fighter. What is your plan for your 50th birthday next year? Here.
So my 40th birthday was in Venice. It was technically a post-apocalyptic masked ball. Because after the apocalypse, how much clothing do you really have? It's probably going to be a little ragged, a little burnt.
No plans for the 50th?
Yeah, 50th. The half-century party. I'll have to think of something. Usually go with some kind of crazy theme. The party where I ended up wrestling with the world champion sumo wrestler, which by the way also caused me to burst a disc in my neck. So, 5 minutes of glory for 5 years of pain. That really hurt. So that party was Victorian Japanese steampunk. So that was cool. I have to think of something for the half-century party.
You have a little time to think.
I mean, hey,
about
being
it.
on Earth for a half-century, that's like, hey, I'm still alive. Wow, cool.
Okay, Elon, one very last question. When I asked you what is the meaning of life during a dinner,
42.
you said after a while, well, probably this wonderful French cheese. Could you please explain?
Well, I was just saying that you want to take a moment to appreciate things in life and the sensations. Food's incredible, and there's just so many good things that you can experience. Some of them cost nothing, really. Have a walk in nature or just a nice meal, and it's like, wow, that's pretty great, And we should take a moment to appreciate these little things, the big things, the things that move your heart. I think that's probably the meaning of life, as close a definition as I can think.
Thank you very much, Elon.
All right.
This is your captain speaking again. Thank you, Elon. Thank you, Matthias. It's a pleasure having you on board and learning so much about our future. Before I come back with some information about our flight, I'm now honored to welcome Secretary Jens Spahn and ask him on stage and to share his thoughts about Elon Musk's achievements and responsibilities. The vessel's floor is yours, Mr. Secretary.
So, wonderful evening to all of you. An evening between the struggles on Earth and the vision towards Mars. And regarding Earth, we are meeting here today in a very special time. We are experiencing the worst pandemics since the Spanish flu. For roughly 10 months, now governments, but above all citizens worldwide, have been combating the virus and its consequences. People are experiencing a great deal of suffering, hardship, and sacrifice. Yet today, at the beginning of December, we also have a reason for optimism. We can be very optimistic that we will have an effective vaccine against the new virus faster than ever before in human history. With a vaccine, we can finally hope to have a tool that will help us beat the virus. It is true that some people have misgivings about vaccination to the point of rejecting it at all costs. This is an attitude I find very difficult to understand. It was only vaccination that first made it possible for humankind to liberate itself from many of the fatal diseases that had plagued our ancestors for centuries. Plagues that had led to fear and superstition and were an obstacle to progress. Vaccination is progress. And today, that word, progress, is for many synonymous with one name, that of Elon Musk. Mr. Musk, I'm pleased to have the honor of paying tribute to you in these very special times. You are, without doubt, a visionary. The name Musk stands for ideas that were often far ahead of their time. Paying online with PayPal, electromobility and sustainable energy with Tesla. And not seldom does the name Musk also represent ideas that, at first glance, might seem a little crazy. The Hyperloop project is one of those, the vision that persons and goods can be accelerated in the double tube to speeds of up to 1,200 kilometers per hour. This also includes connecting the human brain to a computer, the subject of Neuralinks just discussed, Neuralinks research since 2016. And of course, private space travel with SpaceX is also an integral part of the mission. Thanks to Elon Musk, seemingly crazy ideas become reality. Elon Musk has realized the most powerful thing we as human beings possess is our ideas. Tesla's ability to rise to become the world's most valuable car manufacturer was not primarily the result of its sales figures. Tesla's worth is a reflection of an idea, a vision. An idea that allows many people to have faith in progress, in a better future. It is supported, of course, by business expertise. Elon Musk is building his newest Gigafactory in Brandenburg on Mark land. Many Germans associate Brandenburg with the poet Theodor Fontane, who once walked the sands of the Mark. Fontane wrote, "Between arrogance and humility lies a third trait that is part of life and that, simply put, is courage." Should you not yet know Fontane, by the way, for your Douglas Adams non-digital bookshelf, I hope there is one Fontane. Should you not yet know him, Mr. Musk, I think that fits you quite well, because courage you most certainly have. At the same time, your choice of Germany as the location for your factory is hardly only a question of courage, but just as much the result of keen calculation. Germany is a country of automobile pioneers. Karl and Bertha Benz, Rudolf Diesel, Gottlieb Daimler, Ferdinand Porsche. The list of achievements by Germans or made in Germany is long. Mr. Musk, you know that Germany still possesses great innovative strengths today, many well-trained, creative people, and a solid infrastructure. Great conditions for courageous entrepreneurship for tomorrow's innovators and pioneers. In the meantime, you probably also recognize the word Bürokratie in German. Indeed, constructing a factory from scratch in only a few months, that is a new experience even for our country, or at least an experience we seem to have forgotten. We need a bit more of the Musk courage on our side to reduce bureaucratic obstacles and thereby promote innovation. Because also it is true that innovation needs a reliable framework. It also needs freedom to flourish. In the 70 years since the creation of the Federal Republic of Germany, we have often succeeded in striking this balance. Germany is an economically strong country, cosmopolitan and free, an anchor of stability and amity in Europe. It is something we can be proud of. Today, however, at the start of the 20s of the 21st century, there are a number of questions we also ask ourselves. What do we want the 20s to look like? How can we find the right answers in complicated times? What legacy do we want to leave to our children? How can we maintain the German success model, sustain and expand our prosperity as well as the freedom and security associated with it in times where it is under threats from many sides? So we need a strong state that encourages economic activity, because German firms suffer some clear disadvantages when competing with monopolies from the US and with a state economy like China's. In return, our state should invest massively in education, infrastructure, and research, and should launch support programs not for individual companies, but for entire branches of the economy. In the 20s, we want to remain export champion, a master of innovation, push forward digitalization, promote research, and strengthen entrepreneurial culture. Only progress will ensure that the next generation will have it even better. It's all about making space for ideas to flourish. From all that we've heard, Elon Musk knows this and tries to implement it in his businesses. Being a visionary does not necessarily mean always being right, nor does it mean being free of contradiction. It was only recently that Elon Musk and I got to meet each other personally. And we're also able to talk about the pandemic situation. Tesla is, through the subsidiary Grohmann Automation, a partner of the German-Dutch biotech company CureVac, which is doing research on a coronavirus vaccine. CureVac is using RNA bioreactors developed by Elon Musk companies. I'm very pleased to see this commitment. However, I have read that Elon Musk himself does not intend to get vaccinated.
Well, I got COVID, so.
Oh, like me, but still. I also know that Elon Musk takes a critical view of many of the measures that we as governments are taking to control the pandemic and to protect our citizens. One of his statements struck me especially, that anyone who is at risk should be in quarantine until the storm passes. In connection with the observation you just made again tonight that everyone has to die sometime. Yeah. Yes, health protection does not take precedence over all else. In the pandemic, it is always about balance. No matter how we act or do not act, harm will occur. We must therefore strike a balance. As Minister of Health, I think it is only right for us to weight the health protection very highly. I, for one, would have great difficulty doing otherwise. At the same time, it is legitimate to demand a different weighting. Such debates are an indispensable part of our free societies. And it is important that we are not implacable in these discussions. But we listen to each other and are willing to assume, at least sometimes, that the other one might have a point, or that their arguments could be valid. Debates that deteriorate into moralizing seldom reflect reality in all its diversity. So it would be highly unfair to imply that Elon Musk might care too little. Through his private foundation, Elon Musk funds research into renewable energy, space travel, child health, education in mathematics, computer science, natural science, technology, as well as safe AI. In his private capacity, he is consistently donating large sums of money to charity projects, such as for planting 1 million trees. Looking at Elon Musk means repeatedly encountering a seemingly insatiable zest for action and discovery. The many articles about the supposedly declining innovative power of our Western world and societies then just seems to be worlds away. In such instances, Elon Musk stands in the limelight. He is the spearhead of an entire generation of courageous entrepreneurs and bold scientists. People who believe in the power of ideas and that progress is possible, in spite of resistance and setbacks. This gives us courage. Despite the great challenges that we as humans are currently facing, we are living in a time of great opportunity. An economically successful, environmentally responsible, and socially balanced world is possible. It is possible through innovation and courage, not through individual austerity or through fear. Experiences and encounters with innovative and creative people, such as Elon Musk, reconfirm my basic optimism time after time. We do have the power to shape our future. Elon Musk wanted to change the world a little and ended up revolutionizing it. This teaches us that everything is in our own hands. It is up to each and every one of us. Above all now, in this often difficult time, we may not lose sight of the future ahead of us. With all of its alarming, disastrous aspects in many areas, the current pandemic strengthens precisely the willingness to shape the future. It is leading us faster than ever down some appropriate and necessary path. As the old saying goes, crisis presents opportunity. In this pandemic, we are learning more on a daily basis, together, in other words, in public. We are adapting our strategies. We are consistently trying to act in a targeted and proportionate way, starting afresh every day based on the latest knowledge. This spirit of progress, this openness, this willingness to learn is something we must sustain in the future. I'm convinced that Germany has a great deal of this visionary power that drives you, Mr. Musk. We simply need to more often have the courage to believe in it ourselves. In this respect, you are a great example to us. Congratulations on the 2020 Axel Springer Award. I wish you the greatest possible success for the future, and even more, stay healthy. All the best. Since we both said it, obviously, we can get closer. All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Spahn. This is again your captain speaking. Some information about the flight. Outside temperature is about 1600 Kelvin, so I kindly ask you not to open the windows as we leave hyperspace. Welcome to Mars orbit. We will reach our final destination, Mars surface, in the scheduled time. The temperature will be between 0 degrees Celsius and minus 100 degrees Celsius. So, first rule, don't panic. Please excuse me, I just got the information that we have a special delivery right now, right here. This is rather unusual, but please, let me check. Elon. Good evening, everybody. I'm your captain tonight. Would you please hold my helmet? Thank you very much. Wow, it feels so comfortable. I never felt that comfortable before. Thank you. It's your original SpaceX overall, and I will wear it many times from now on because I never felt so free. I can breathe, I have oxygen in my head, and I've experienced that before standing on the stage. It's a bit wattiert, you know, it doesn't make me slim, but it's okay. It's okay for me tonight. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really thankful to meet you because I'm also thankful for your work and achievement for different reasons. Because as you might remember, we've seen it in the movie, I held the microphone. I was the one, it was my hand holding the microphone when you announced that you're gonna build Tesla here in Berlin, Brandenburg. And so, thanks to you, I made it in every German news show. And not me, but parts of me made it into every German news show, which made me really famous. My hands are now one of the most famous hands we have in Germany. And my hands are holding your present now. It's a present. We were thinking about what can we give you as a present? It's really difficult, you know, it's really difficult. We were thinking about a spa weekend in Brandenburg. Not so good. A helicopter flight over Berlin. A fancy set of steak knives. You might have it already. So we were thinking about what could be nice for you. And can you guess what's inside? Come on stage. I tell you, come on. No, it's no cake and it's no book. Come on stage. As we heard, you are a visionary and you are a businessman, but you are also, you don't not only like to listen to music, but you also do music. You compose.
Is it a record?
Yeah, it's a record.
Okay.
You compose music.
Great.
There is one famous song, it didn't make it to the charts, but it's really famous.
It really ranked on SoundCloud. That's a joke, but...
The name of the song is Don't Doubt Your Vibe.
Yes.
Do you recognize it?
Yeah, don't doubt your vibe. Be because it's true. Be because it's you.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it has so many possibilities to really go right through the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you do enough auto-tune, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will. When did you write it? When did you compose it?
Well, actually, I just woke up one morning and I was singing the lyrics. They're not very complicated. And my girlfriend Grimes recorded it on her phone. Yeah. And she said, "This is great. We should make a song out of this." Yeah. And so then we called our friend Mike, who is a great producer, and we went to the studio, to the Muppet studio, Jim Henson studio. Yeah. And we made the song. Yeah. And then I created a fake record label called Emoji Records. Emoji.
Within a minute, yeah.
Like emo gangsta, like that. And on SoundCloud, and then I uploaded it to SoundCloud. And that's how it went.
Perfect.
Yeah.
On which occasion should it be played?
I guess if you're doubting your vibe.
Yeah.
You know, or anytime.
Did you ever doubt your vibe?
Yeah.
Really? When was it?
Yeah, December 2nd, I don't know, 92.
Can we expect more? Can we expect more? It's very promising, I mean.
Well, I do think that it would be kind of fun to do a cover of Barbie Girl by Aqua. You know that song?
Barbie girl?
Barbie girl, yeah.
Viagra?
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
I'm out
It's-
in plastic. It's fantastic.
You know it.
Break my heart, especially everywhere.
Yes.
Imagination is
Okay,
my imagination.
so you know the lyrics.
Yeah, I know the lyrics. Did you write it?
No.
Okay.
But I think it would be fun to do a cover of Barbie Girl, but Cyber Girl.
I'm a cyber girl.
Yeah, in a cyber world.
world. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. You have to invent a new
It's fantastic.
melody.
In the future, there's no plastic, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I doubt that. I doubt that. So, but now, hold on to your seat. We have the honor to have one of the most famous DJs in the world.
Cool.
He's here, and
Okay.
he remixed your
Nice.
song.
Great.
And we have him here. Sven Feth is here tonight.
All right.
Sven, would you come up on stage?
Hello.
He did this original. It's inside here, Sven.
Yes.
How was it to work with the material? How was the material? How did you?
We'll get you the stems.
I
We'll
will
get you the
never doubt
stems.
my vibes. I had a good feeling with the title, and I made out the best with a friend of mine, and I hope you like it. But it's not just about that. It's the whole box.
Yeah.
What is quite interesting. Please.
Who designed it?
Please,
Who designed it? Take
my son.
Okay.
My son draw the cover, and his name is Tiga, and he's 10 years old. He is, by the way, a big fan of your
Thanks.
work.
Well,
It's an absolute original. When would you play it on your DJ set? Would you play it rather at
you
the
open the
beginning,
box,
or
you
is it
open
more
the box, yeah.
Rausschmeißer?
So we have
Where would it be?
we have unique printed vinyls, and I choose.
Do you have turntables in
You
your
have
conference room on
Yes.
the
I have two turntables on
construction
microphone.
side?
So I choose essential techno tracks from the last 30 years.
Great. Oh,
Kraftwerk.
thank you. Wow, this is cool.
Kraftwerk is included, and friends of mine like
Wow, and
Axel,
Kraftwerk, they're number one.
Roman Flögel, Mars,
Kraftwerk is great.
Moby,
Super old school, sure.
Moby,
Wow.
outside music. So
Is that
this
a
is
present?
unique. and
That's great. Wow.
Only one
Very thoughtful. Thank you.
for you, and enjoy. I hope you have a turntable, and
I do.
there is a QR code inside. In
Okay.
case.
Thank you very much. Sven
Yeah.
Feth!
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we hope to make you happy tonight.
All right.
It's a pleasure
Wow.
having you.
Yeah, it's really thank you for doing this. This is really fun and wow, great production value. This is I feel like I'm on like a cool Disney ride or something. But I do want to just say to acknowledge the great people at Tesla and SpaceX, Neuralink, Boring Company. Really, I accept this award on your behalf for all the great things that you've done. So. Super appreciated, but I really want to acknowledge very strongly the people at the companies who made it happen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Elon Musk, Axel Spring Awardee 2020. You can sit down now, of course,
Okay.
because, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to land. Please fasten your seatbelts again. Bitte sehr. exhausting and exciting and surprising and wonderful journey. Looks great, doesn't it? Yes. You can follow now our assistants or Mr. Döpfner. He's the tallest guy here. Just walk after him, and we have a little refreshment for you. And you don't even have to choose between salty and sweet, or ham or cheese. You can take both tonight, which is just great. Just have a nice evening and enjoy. Good night. Thank you, Elon.